Good morning. Before we get into football things, this morning took a couple minutes out of our squad meeting to recognize a couple of people. One being Nancy Meyer, who this is her 50th year, here with the organization, which is definitely impressive. If you do anything for 50 years, it's definitely something to recognize. And she's been fantastic, and a lot of love from the players, past players and current players. Everyone that comes in here, they go in there and they sign the contract with Nancy in there. The second thing is the Ed Block Courage Award. It's given to a player on a team, all 32 teams, that display courage, facing adversity, going through all that stuff, and returning to play. And this year it is Cole Strange. He won the Ed Block Courage Award. So that's what we started off with this morning. Getting to football, just excited for another opportunity to go on the field. The guys still dialed in, still ready to go, and looking forward to going out there and playing a good football game. Fire away.
Do you have any reaction to the comments that July made on WWE this morning?
I've handled that internally. We had a conversation about it, so I'm going to keep that in-house. I will say this. Look, for the fans, I've said this before. I'm a fan of different things too. Like, look, no one's happy. No one's happy with our record. No one's happy where we are right now. And the fans, look, they pay the bills, and they come in here and they demand us, to go out there and perform well. And we haven't done that this year. So, look, I understand.
After comments that were made by Devon Godshaw and Dietrich Wise earlier in the week, did you address the players about how they should speak about fans?
No, I've talked to the guys about how, look, they're getting caught up in trying to defend me. And look, I told them, look, I appreciate it, but at the same time, the fans are, the most important thing here. And they want to see good football, and they want to see wins.
From your experience as a player, Jerod, how did you internalize being on the field and putting your heart out on the field, and then dealing with backlash, whether it's from TV media, newspaper media, or fans in general?
That's part of playing sports. Everyone's not going to be a fan of the Patriots. Everyone's not going to be a fan of Jerod Mayo. And I learned that very early in my competitive career, no matter what sport I have played. And look, you got to just put your head down and keep working to get better.
So Drake land on the injury report with the right hand limited. I'm just curious what effect you've seen that have on him in practice.
No effect. So.
And how has Joe handled the non-scout team reps that Alex Mantel had said he took this week in practice?
Yeah, he's still doing some of the show team stuff. So.
And how has he looked on the non-show team as well? Sort of
he's looked good. Sorry, yeah, he's looked good. So.
Is the plan to have Joe Milton on your game day roster Sunday?
All three quarterbacks will be at the game.
You mentioned earlier in the week, Jerod, that there haven't been any conversations between you and ownership about how to handle the roster and how to handle this last game. Have those occurred since we last spoke to you?
Look, I already answered. It hasn't changed.
And just on the quarterbacks, all three being at the game. I mean, Joe has always been at the game, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But will his status as the third be different maybe than what it has been in the past?
We'll see how today goes, and it's always a possibility.
Do you see the long-term benefits of maybe handling this game differently than other games? And is it tough for you to decide how to go about it?
Look, I answered this the other day. I said, as a player, as a coach, we've always, anytime we step on the football field, we expect to go out there and play at a high level and win.
I believe in 2014, Tom Brady played the first half of the final game of the season and didn't play the second. Is that maybe a blueprint for what we can see on Sunday?
I don't look at any of those things really as blueprints. I think every team, every situation is unique, and that's how we're going to handle it.
Do you think it'd be helpful for your evaluations to get a look at Joe Milton in-game action moving forward?
It's always helpful to see players who haven't played as much during the season go out there and play in a regular season game.
In his case in particular, he's the only rookie on the roster. When you talk about developing players this year who hasn't taken a snap, does that factor in?
Yeah, we also talk about developing Drake May at the same time, so it's tough. He's been our emergency quarterback.
We hadn't talked to you since Schooler was named to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And just from a coaching standpoint, what do you see from what opposing teams do, that shows maybe that level?
Yeah, I told the guys, look, Schooler's one of those guys that, everything's 100 miles per hour. Nothing happens on accident. He's one of our hardest workers, and at the end of the season, to be named a Pro Bowl player is definitely huge. And, using that as a model and how he's gone about his business has been great.
What are your thoughts on Christian Gonzalez not making the Pro Bowl I know Pro Bowls don't always matter, but obviously he's been pretty good this year.
Yeah, I think I've said this from the start. I think he's one of the best corners in the league. So we'll see what the All-Pro vote says.
Are there guys who might be in Joe's category going into this game? Other guys who might be in Joe's category going into this game? I know earlier in the year you said you wanted to see some guys and how they finish the year, some of the younger guys. Are there some guys who might put in that same class?
100%.
Any insight on who might step into Yannick's role, like on the edge there?
And it's going to be by committee. It's going to be by committee as far as our third down package is concerned.
Anyone like that we might see from I'm thinking Jotham, Truman. I don't know if those guys fit on practice squad.
Truman has an opportunity. He'll have an opportunity to get in the game.
Jerod, for the last 2 days, Gonzalez hasn't practiced with his concussion. Is there a possibility that he could clear protocol by Sunday, or are you expecting it to not happen in this final game?
I mean, there is a possibility, but once again, the speed of which you get out of the concussion protocol always changes, and I leave it in their hands.
How would you say your culture has evolved from start of camp to where it is now?
Look, this is the time of the year that everyone, including media, myself, the players, have to reflect, and that's what we got to do.
Well, in reflecting, how would you see that change? Is something that I know coaches talk about culture, is something you maintain and reinforce daily.
Yeah, to me, it's about the Buffalo Bills this week. I will say sometimes, and I've always said this, whether sometimes we look at culture as it's almost a retrospective way of validating success or failure. And in saying that, let me break it down a little bit. Just because you have a good record doesn't mean you have a good culture, and just because you have a bad record doesn't mean you have a bad culture. And so these things take time.
How does the uncertainty surrounding the coaching staff affect your approach to this game?
Everyone, coaching staff, players are just focused on the Bills and ready to go out there and win.
What would you say Alex Van Pelt has brought on the offensive side of the ball in terms of leadership this season?
Steadiness. He's a steady guy.
Final question.
Anything more?
There are a lot of different things I could say, but he asked me the most important is steadiness.
If there are changes made to the coaching staff, obviously beyond you, would that be your decision alone, or would there be any other forces behind that?
Well, it's the first time I've gotten to the end of the season. So, as I said, I've been in constant communication with ownership, and I'm sure those conversations will be had. Thank you.